Welcome to Unity Books Presents. I'm Ellen Debenport. Tonight we're talking about the long-awaited book from Ken Daigle, Unapologetic Manifestation: 5 Steps to Create the Life You Want. Hi, Ken.
Hi, Ellen. It's wonderful to be with you here tonight.
So I say this book is long-awaited because Ken has been teaching in the area of prosperity and abundance for years. He's the senior minister at Unity San Francisco, but I guess in your spare time, you created an abundance program that has been taught in churches and classes. The Unity product team used his material to create something called the Access Abundance Toolkit, which is a basic do-it-yourself intro to prosperity principles. But now, the definitive book, and not only the book, but the Unapologetic Manifestation Companion Journal goes with it. They are both full of exercises, meditations, questions, journaling prompts, gratitude lists, everything you need to work through your stuff and create a life of abundance. Ken, you even have a separate website for this.
Do. It's the 5steps.org.
What's on it? It's not
So
in the book.
on the 5steps.org, you can access information about the book, you can download worksheets, and you can also access our meditations. So the book has a rich history of meditation, a dive deep into how to rewire your brain using the power of meditation. And there are 8 different meditations listed on the website that you can follow along. It's in my voice, guides you through a morning process of meditation and journaling to create new neural pathways in your brain and to open up the pathways to abundance in your life.
That's one of the things that makes it so interesting is the brain science and the psychology that's included in it. It's not strictly this is spiritual principle, it's how it works. But I'm getting ahead of us. Ken compiled a ton of information for this book, and people are already reading it and teaching from Unapologetic Manifestation. They say they appreciate the clarity and how practical it is. And what were you telling me about the Amazon rankings? You're in the top 103 different categories?
I am. As of this morning, we are in the top 100 rankings in spiritual self-help, in new thought, new age books, and in LGBTQ parenting. So a little known category. But when I was talking to some of the team that's been working on this with me for Amazon, they ask questions about the book, and I tell the stories of my becoming a parent and my journey with my husband into manifesting our 3 amazing children. And many of you have been on that journey with me. And so the book has some practical tips about how to parent and how I've navigated it. And so it's soaring through the LGBTQ plus parenting.
Interesting. I never thought of it as LGBTQ or parenting, but of course that's who you are, and you tell your own stories in the book. So I love that. It gives us a lot to talk about tonight. So first, let me remind the audience that you may ask questions in the chat anytime. Chat moderators will funnel those questions to me to ask Ken. They'll also be giving you information about where to get the books and lots more. I expect we'll be here an hour or so. And yes, 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 this is being recorded. You will get an email in about a week with a link to the video. So let's talk about the book and then we'll take questions. Ken, first let's define abundance because it's more than money. You list categories of abundance in the book, and money's just one of them.
Yeah, so in all the work I've been doing with so many Unity communities over the last decade, I was really searching for ways to expand the concept of abundance. And I use the word abundance very specifically in the book and in all of my work around this, because prosperity has come to mean so much just finances. And I know that's not the full definition of prosperity and not certainly how Charles talked about it originally, but in our society right now, prosperity means financial prosperity, and that is important. We all need to have financial resources to survive. But I expanded even in the financial resource capacity to talk about material resources. There are material resources we can all access without finance. Just a walk in nature, just a walk along the beach, just being able to breathe the air is a material resource we all need. And when we can shift our understanding of how much is given to us all the time without having to earn it, we can move into this idea of abundance in a new way. So financial, material abundance are the first two categories we tackle in the book. And Ellen, you were so wise to make me put it first because I had buried it, right? And we went through the editing process. She said, no, we got to put that up front. And I was glad now. I was just rereading a section of it for some videos I was doing, going, I'm glad we started with prosperity, with financial and material resources. So that's one. The second one is vibrant health. So, vibrant health is so important, and it's not about the absence of diagnosis, because many of us deal with diagnoses or conditions, but still live vibrant lives in our body. And I want us to move into an understanding of health and vibrant health specifically, that we have abundance at every moment, even when we are dealing with a diagnosis or a disease or a chronic situation. We can thrive and have a great experience even in the midst of those situations. And I like to talk about it this way too, is diagnosis is not destiny and prognosis is not in stone. Prognosis isn't necessarily what's going to happen. It's just what happens to most people. And I like to say, we're not most people. We can do this differently. The third one is enriching relationships. So the idea that any of us do this alone is such a fallacy. We have all had so many hands helping us along the way, teaching us, nurturing us, cheering us on, supporting us, and that each and every one of those relationships has made us who we are today. When we take time to cultivate enriching relationships that nurture us, that we nurture, we create this ecosystem of abundance in our lives that helps us prosper. So enriching relationships are a huge part of understanding and living into abundance. The next one is work you love. Now, I am really blessed. I get that. I get to do what I love for a living, and now being an author is a new part of that. But work you love doesn't necessarily mean a paycheck. Work you love can be the volunteer work you do. Work you love can be the parenting you do for no money whatsoever. Work you love is a mindset of wanting to get up in the morning, wanting to achieve something in this life. And I like to say, whether you're 8 or 80, we all have work to do. And work to do that lights us up is part of the abundance module. And then the last category is leisure time. Norma Rosado, one of my first SEE teachers when I first went to Unity Village, taught the Charles Fillmore Prosperity class that I took in SEE. And she talked about it this way. She goes, if you don't have leisure time, you're really not abundant, right? And you're really not prosperous, because you can work yourself to the bone. You can work yourself into exhaustion to achieve financial success or material success. But if it doesn't come with a sense of ease and rest and relaxation, what's it all for? So leisure time also neurologically has been proven to be our most creative times. When we're not nose to the grindstone, we actually are more creative and see things that we wouldn't normally see, and can create new paradigms for our prosperity, for our abundance, for our enriching lives. So those are the 5 components of abundance that I lay out in the book.